Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join today's webinar. My name is J.P. Kroger. I'm the Product and Delivery Director at CNBS Software, and today we're going to talk about the enosiX framework, a mobile solutions revolution for SAP. And I'm happy to have with me today as well Gerald Schlechter, who is the CEO and co-founder of enosiX.
Hi everybody, thanks JP for having me. Super excited for the stuff you guys are doing with our framework in the market. So let's present some of that.
Yeah, so Gerald, appreciate you taking the time to join us today as well. So there are a lot of demands facing business IT in today in delivering solutions for their customers. The framework that we have here is perfectly designed for that. One of the big challenges for today is that technology is really changing rapidly, and the needs for the business to be able to respond to that is a real challenge. The days of projects where we have 3-month or 6-month rollouts and then time for adjustments, those days are really coming to an end. The business really needs to be able to respond quickly to the market. They need a technology platform that's going to respond to that as well. With the solutions that we have, it's really a customer-first approach to this. And what we're seeing is we have solutions here for B2B side. We have solutions as well for mobile devices, say within the for services, Salesforce integration, our examples like our smart catalog that we have to offer as well. And really what we're talking about here is an agile development process. So again, we need to be able to develop quickly and deploy these solutions quickly. So what we'd like to do is jump into a couple of, and before going to that, thank you, a reminder of just some of our customers that we have, and quite an extensive portfolio of customers from the smaller mid-market companies even up to Fortune 500 and multi-billion-dollar companies as well within the portfolio. We do want to talk about a little bit just to give an idea of some of the use cases that we've encountered for our customers and to show some of these solutions. Perfect example of this is with Thieves machining system. And so what we have here is a case where you have technicians in the field who are performing maintenance and service on machines, and they have a need, several needs for this. One, that they, first of all, need to be able to maintain time entry on what they're actually doing. They also need the ability to generate service reports for their customers to show the types of activities that were done. So this is very cumbersome for an individual to be carrying around a laptop or for some reason have to go back to their office and start generating these types of reports. And what we've really done is use the power of the framework to put this functionality in the hands of the technicians. So with a mobile device, they can simply manage all of this information right there in real time and submit these things back to, in this case, back to SAP, and let these guys do their work in a much more efficient manner. In addition to this, so this is a quick win for them, and then this also works into a longer-term strategy for Thieves to allow them to then expand on this platform and use this in other areas of the business. And in addition then, as I mentioned, one of the things that is a real key driver for this is we have a phased approach with this, where we allow, you start off with some basic functionality, but then as we start to look at this, the needs of the business change, they have additional requirements. Again, we don't get into this long-term development cycle of having to take 2 months, 3 months to roll these things out within really a matter of days. We can do updates to the application and deploy these to the team, and they can get the newest features with this as well. So again, with this agile development cycle, we really are able to turn these things around in a much more quick fashion.
And I think, JP, one of the nice things here was that the customer was able to launch in a couple of weeks with a pilot group of like 50, I think, that we had. Immediately got an ROI out of that, immediate transparency of time attendance, reduced billing cycles, and that pretty much funded the next round for the customer projects, right, and the custom development. And now those guys are often thinking bigger with you and us as a partner, having service apps, having machine integration at some point, and really provide a 360-degree view to their customers of their activities as well, not just internal people, but to their end customers. So a pretty cool success story. Great job, guys, on implementing that.
And then moving on, one of the other challenges that one of the clients had is, and that this was a real win for them and for a demonstration of the power of the framework. And so this is a Davy Tree company. They had an IVR phone system where customers are calling in to actually pay their invoices and their bills online, or make deposits, get account statements, and using the framework are actually able to leverage in a very simple way all of those complex back-end processes simply tied into the phone system. The network really provided the ability to link to that and have the customers come in and manage these accounts. So this was also a big win for the company as well. I'm sure, Gerald, if you wanted to elaborate anything in on this particular topic.
You mentioned it to show off the power of integration, not just from a .NET or Xamarin platform on the front-end development, but as well for IoT types through REST service. So real-time calling to SAP to get the account balances, customer punches then in what they want to pay, real-time call, PCI compliant calls through Paymetric into the payment system, into SAP as well, and real-time clearing of the open accounts receivables without anybody touching in the back end anything. So in the past, that was a complex download, upload, email process, very cumbersome. And as Davy Tree grows and the customer base grows, that solution was outgrown. And this is a pretty cool example for us what the solution even can offer down the road, instead just talking about mobility. So JP, I'll just take it from there and talk a little about what enosiX is about in the framework, and then we can discuss, have a couple of discussions around it. So enosiX's mission is to bring agile development to enterprises, and we call it from starter kits to IoT, and it will make sense when I explain the toolkits that CNBS is using in their day-to-day operations to create those solutions and deploy to their clients. What we are enabling is basically a framework where front-end developers can be as flexible as they want to be on creating solutions that are UX and functionality and end-user driven without needing to think about the back-end integration. Today we are working primarily in SAP. We're starting in Salesforce, venturing into Salesforce out as well. I'll show that in a little bit. We have NetSuite on the horizon. We do some custom projects with Oracle PLM where we pull in Oracle drawings. We do some custom projects with Microsoft. So at the end, for the developers of the JP managers, that means that a developer, front-end developer, can call the framework and say, hey, I want to see activities, I want to see customers. And it doesn't really matter how it's done in the back end, but authorization is taken care of, the connection to SAP is taken care of. And we basically wrote a big component within SAP that are humanizing that connection and that API in the development framework, so that the developer doesn't need to know anymore what APIs to call or what structures in the API, and for change in display and read, the APIs are looking different and there's realness fields to fill out, but it's all humanized, and comes back in an object-oriented model, and they see, oh, here's customers, here's addresses, here's this, and they can call it, they can change it, they can update it, they can list it, they can do offline within the framework. And I think that's the power of the tool set to make those solutions deployable that quickly. On top of that, what we did is we wanted to even go further. We wanted to enable our partners and the developers not to just start from scratch. So we came up with starter kits. And that has a huge impact for CNBS's clients, the end user, because now the SAP customer can pick out of those starter kits, and we can literally install them in a couple of hours, and the next day you have them running as a pilot group, and then you can roll them out in a week later after tweaking. And we have a couple in the expense and service, time entry, purchase requisition. But for the team that JP manages, the huge thing is that those are building blocks. And now CNBS can create very quickly and very agile new versions of those solutions and new implementations. I think a perfect example was quality assurance app that you guys are doing for one of your customers. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is another big pain point for one of the clients. So in their industry, they have lab technicians who are running a variety of tests. And for them, they're carrying around a scratch pad to different workstations and running these tests, taking the notes on the results of those. Then they have to walk back over to a laptop or some desktop machine, sit down, log into SAP, record their results there, then go to the next station. And really it's not convenient. It's a time waste for them. And so using the framework and developing an iPad application that allows them to actually carry this smaller device with them, they can sit there, record their devices right there as they're running the test, and then just move on to each of the workstations. And then that allows them to be much more efficient in their work. And I think this really shows the power of this, because you can take some simple use case and really, in a very quick time, really a matter of days, being able to make this type of connectivity and bring this type of application to the
Yeah, I think you guys had the first pilot and screens real-time connected to SAP in 5 days.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a custom process for that client. So that's pretty impressive. So that's the game-changing moment now, that we can really bring the agile development approach that's in all the other areas, but not so much in the SAP yet, where there's still the blueprinting, and 3 weeks later and 2 months later you see something, a screen. Now we can really go in and say, hey, we can design the screens with the customers, we can take those starter kit apps, we can build on those, we can do the visual design with the end user and say, if you like this, field, and then connect it into SAP, and 5 days later we can run through a pilot that's almost 80–90% done, and then you tweak it, and 2 weeks later it's in production and go live and rolled out to hundreds of users. So very powerful for the end consumer. Next to the starter kits, here's just a list of and the vast variety of stuff we're doing at the moment. So the big message for us is we are not siloed into one transactional area, so we're not just sales, but we're cross-process. And the big changer as well, the game changer as well, is that our framework is built on cross-transactional. So we're not just, if you want to have customer data, it is, of course, beneficial to show customer data from sales and finance and other areas as well. So we can connect to all those different areas and are not just stuck into customer address data. We can merge and mix processes. So the framework is very well received with complex business processes like in the service industry and those areas. And we are currently building out and releasing pretty quickly the next wave of that. So we're pretty much doubling our offering pretty quickly. The newest thing I want to talk about, and that's something as well pretty new, I think, for CNBS yet. There's a couple of first projects that we're running, but we are launching next week, actually, the Salesforce integration piece with SAP. And why is this such a big deal? Because today the alternative to us is pretty much an iPaaS service. We have a complex system like Mules of the Boomi, where you have months of setup time, and you need to actually develop the front end and the back end and the SAP integration yourself. So we packaged all that in a framework. So we can install pretty much in a couple of hours, customize it, and then same scenario, you can have a 90% solution done on your system with your data, on your Salesforce within a day. And then we can customize that, or the partner can customize and enhance that with even customer information, credit information, and it's not just data synchronization, but it's full process integration, and this is a huge deal. So we can do from an opportunity in Salesforce, depending on stages or events in Salesforce, we create in real time the quotes in SAP. We can do then quotes to sales order conversion in SAP. So the whole business process flow is covered from your Salesforce front end into your back end of SAP. Where you have today a disruption because those systems are not in sync, or just people using Salesforce can't see customer credit information, financial data, can't see order history data, can't view sales orders. All that is now covered with this tool set, and by the way, we can get you live in 2 weeks or even under. So this is very powerful message, of course, as well as others on the SAP certified platform. I will show a quick video on this, and if you're interested, please send us an email, and we will just forward you some information and links, or go on our website and register for additional information. This will just show the power and integration of this toolkit. I will mute the sound and just talk to it. But you see an Salesforce page where we, in the accounts area, go directly into few customer details, few sales orders, few quotes. This is native. This is not an iframe. This is out of the Salesforce piece, real-time calling SAP. We can match customer data from all different areas. You see there is an area now that we added for quotes of SAP. Depending if you want to change, for example, opportunity status, and we save that, it automatically creates the quote in SAP. We get a quote number out of SAP. We could edit that. We could change that. We could view that. That accesses in real time the data in SAP. There is no complex synchronization necessary. This is all real-time access. Synchronization is possible. We can do that, of course, but with this technology, we can avoid most of that. And then we can, if we change the stage, it automatically can create this quote into a sales order. We get the sales order number, have the quote number. Of course, all the logic in SAP is inherited. All the user exits, all the conversions from quote to sales order, closing the quote is inherited. I can then go into the view screen and again go into the sales order. We even could do changes and updates of the sales order. All that is possible with this easy integration of the Salesforce toolkit. What does that mean compared to other options? So enosiX installed today, and end users can begin testing and run a pilot tomorrow, live under 2 weeks. And the biggest thing is we do not have any dependencies in SAP. There is no batch level required. This is a proprietary communication. There is no gateway required. There is no Java stack required. There is no middleware synchronization required, so no complex monitoring. And because of that, no specialized resources to maintain and install that. We send you a link to download. It's a SAP certified solution. Same, you load it in 2 hours. We go on your Salesforce page, you apply the codes. You can then activate the views for your users through authorization, and then you can already test and run the pilot. Compared to some of the alternatives, the complex iPad systems would mean thousands of dollars per month subscription, weeks, months to even get you hooked up to their cloud solution, your SAP system, and then the install takes time. Plus, you need an ABAP front end, the app packs front end, iPad scripting, maintenance is a nightmare, and you need resources in-house. So huge ROI compared to anything else out there in the market. The story, of course, of enosiX is way bigger. I'll not go into all those details now, but again, we are like our partners. This framework was built with our partners and our customers in mind. feedback from partners like CNBS, where they said, hey, we need quick wins for the market, we need quick wins for our customers. They don't want to talk about 6 to 8 months pilots. They don't want to talk about a year-long mobility projects. We need to do that in weeks. So that the framework was built on those foundations. And of course, we can cover with the framework as well, stack mobility. You can do IVR integration. You can do Salesforce integration. IoT integration, of course, is a topic with most of our customers as well. And we are connecting multiple backends, multiple ERP systems as well. I think that was it for me. I wanted to keep it sweet and short. And
hey, Gerald, I appreciate you taking the time today. I think this is very compelling, and in 2 words, I think this can really be described as a game changer. Pretty much everything that you have talked about, we're seeing at CNBS. The results of those, all of the different use cases we have in action, and the feedback from the customers is significant, and this has been for them a great tool for their tool set. So I appreciate you taking the time today.
Okay,
thank you.
Great. I see a couple of questions coming in, so I just want to make sure we answer that. So one question is around where is it hosted? So as mentioned before, the framework is an SAP certified solution. It actually gets installed on your SAP system from the backend components. So wherever you host your SAP system, that's where enosiX sits and runs. The huge advantage is the code sits like an SAP add-on on your system, maintainable by your team. If there is enhancements, they go from development to quality production. It's in the SC80 environment, so it's a known infrastructure environment for your ABAP developers, so very easy to pick up. There's minimal training. And then on the front-end piece, it's depending if you use the .NET Xamarin stack for front-end development, then you have those components there. Those get pushed out through your MDM management toolset to the iPhone. The other one is about authorization security. Again, it's an SAP integrated solution, so we use and leverage completely SAP's environment, the NetWeaver stack. So security is taken care of role-based by your user's authorization. So typically, we have named users in the SAP system, and they'll simulate the user authorization. If a user doesn't have access to data in SAP, the framework will not retrieve that data for your app. So there is no worries about that. And from accessing your SAP system, it's like you would set up a CRM system with SAP, with firewalls, reverse proxies, HTTPS channels. You could have another web application server in between that acts as an additional firewall internally that handles the communication from HTTPS to your SAP system. So all those scenarios are possible, and it's all standard SAP setup. And that's as well, when we talk about scalability, a big advantage here, because SAP is scalable. So if it runs for users on your SAP system, it will run on the app as well. So you don't have any issues there. Let me see, there's one question around commercials. How is this licensed? So there's 2 licensing options. One is user-based, so subscription model per user accessing the apps, or multiple of apps per month. And then there is a transaction-based licensing as well, depending if it's an IVR or IoT solution, then we do more transaction-based licensing. I think that's all I've seen at the moment. Okay, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, so once again, Gerald, thank you very much for taking the time today. If anyone has any additional questions, then the video will be, the recording of this webinar will be made available, and a link will be sent out to all of the participants. And then if there's any questions, obviously you can direct those to either myself or to Gerald, and we'll be happy to set up a time to talk and dig deeper into any additional questions that you may have.
Also see that we forgot the emails there, so This is John Paul.
Paul.Kroger@CNBS Software. Thank you.
So those are the two emails. Email us anytime with questions, and we'll try to get back to you guys as quickly as possible.
Great.
Thanks a lot for joining today, and everybody have a great day, and we'll see you virtually, talk virtually again on the next webinar coming up soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.